Welcome to this misty Wednesday morning. Today I've got a free day, and as you saw in my last video, I had this nice trail cam experience where I captured a woodpecker who was working in its smithy, if you will, a place where it fed on spruce cones. And it was very interesting behavior that I recorded with my trail cam. And a few months ago, my youngest son and I collected a lot of hazelnuts. And we didn't eat most of them because we collected so many from our garden. We have a lot of hazel trees behind our garden. So I took the hazelnuts and I mixed them with some fruits. And I'm going into the forest and I'm going to put up a trail cam. And I'll put a nice buffet in front of the trail cam with some fruit and hazelnuts and see what animals feed on this little snack. I mean, it's winter. It's always good to help the animals with natural food, such as hazelnuts from the forest. I also have some walnuts that I collected from the forest. And let's see what animals feed on it. This is a badger area, so I suspect badgers, maybe also deer, marten, squirrel, who knows. So I'm going to put up the trail cam, and a couple of days later I'll return and see what animals we can spot. A real misty morning. And these are Dutch winters. Sometimes you have a cold, bright day, but most of the time days are like this, relatively warm, humid and misty. But I do like the atmosphere. It makes everything more silent. The mist changes the acoustic qualities of the air and really gives it a very interesting vibe. Look at this trail. And if you follow that trail, check it out. You can see that all the moss has been removed from this tree. Those could be scratching badgers. And the trail continues. This is a new trail to me. I also thought I saw a latrine of some kind. Where does the trail go? The trail goes through here. It could be a latrine. Now the trail becomes a little faint. Another hole. Okay, there it is. Deer. Fallow deer, I think, pretty big tracks. Roe deer have much smaller tracks, so those are fallow deer. The typical Bambi deer with the white spots on their hips. Look at these beautiful trees. They're big root systems covered in moss. And this tree is only 50 years old. It looks quite older, but this is because of the sea clay that's very fertile. Now we also have national parks on sandy ground, sandy soil, such as the Veluwe. There the trees grow 4 times slower on average, because the sand has very little nutrients. But these poplars, they grow in marine clay, marine sediments, full of minerals, full of nutrients, nitrate and ammonia, phosphate and minerals such as calcium, magnesium, potassium of course. And this results in much faster growth. It almost looks like a primal forest. And yet it is about 50 years old, so it's very, very young. Now, I was here a couple of years ago, and here on Google Maps I marked all these private locations where I found badger trails and badger sets. So I think I'm going to put up a trail cam close to one of the badger trails, see what I can find. I'm not sure if it's clear on the video, but there's a trail, and there is something like a latrine. And here This is a badger entrance, so this is one of the entrances that they make. One of the burrows that they make, so they can flee when they're far away from their sets. So these burrows are located in between the sets and the subsidiary sets, allowing the badger to flee, to hide temporarily when they are feeding at night. So I think I'm going to put up a trail cam here. You can also see signs of badger activity, the wood that has been opened, looking for insects. And the badgers are probably coming from that way. So I'll put up a trail cam over here so I can see them coming on the trail cam. So badgers are animals of short stature, as you know. So I'm putting the trail cam very low. I'm going to hide it with some moss, lock it, and over there where that box is, I'm going to put up some fruit and some nuts. And let's see what feeds on these food items, shall we? Yum yum. All natural, healthy food items for the forest animals. And most of the stuff came from this forest. Not the pear and the banana, but the nuts did. And I'm only putting up a little bit. You shouldn't feed the animals too much, and also not regularly, so they do not become dependent on your feeding. But incidental feedings, I think, are just fine. Don't leave the banana peel though. I threw the banana peel away at home. That doesn't digest very well. So you can see we have a nice view of this pile of food. So let's leave and see what happens in a couple of days. So there's our food. And there's the trail cam. Quite inconspicuous. You do see the food, but from this part of the forest where people may venture, you would hardly see it's there. You just can't see it. Amazing. About a week later, I returned with my son to inspect the trail cam. We're now a couple of days later. It's now weekend. And I'm returning to the trail cam to see if some animals fed on the snacks that I provided. So hopefully we'll have captured some nice footage. Kijk maar, daar gaan ze. Wauw, het zijn er 3. 4, kijk daar gaan ze. Wauw. Zag je dat? I think we can take a shortcut through here. So I stored the GPS location of my trail cam, as I always do. With everything interesting, I always store it on Google Maps in a private folder account. So I can now just find a shortcut to my trail cam using my phone. So that's quite nice. Lots of badger holes, lots of badger digging over here as well. Okay, here we go. Well, the trail cam is still here. And all the food is gone. And look what we have here. All these animals feeding on the food that I provided. And look what we have here. Hello, Mr. Badger. Beautiful. It's always so amazing how animals respond to food in the forest and how a trail cam can capture it. You can hear the badger slobbering. Amazing. This adult badger was very interested in the walnuts that I provided. After playing around with one of them, it happily took it. It even returned a second and a third time for these walnuts. After helping itself with some walnuts, it also happily fed on the fruit that I provided. Also take note of this badger's huge claws. You can see why these animals are able to dig so well. I had no idea that foxes were also interested in walnuts, but this seems to be the case, at least for this individual. Wow, look at this beautiful dark deer. We sometimes see these in the forest, but they are quite rare in these parts. It always amazes me how trail cams reveal a hidden world. Next to having fun with the trail cam, we also enjoyed the birds in our garden. The magpies have already started building their nests. On a sunny day, it almost seems like springtime. Thank you for watching this episode, and we hope to see you next time.